Hello there, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey into men's style, self-development and personal grooming. And today, well, I'd like to have a chat with you about my decision to join the waiting list to buy a new wristwatch. Because, do you know, for me, choosing and buying a wristwatch is an important thing for a gentleman, because that watch is going to be with you for decades potentially. It might even be something that you pass on to your son, your daughter, you know, as an heirloom for them to remember you by and the things that you found important, like wristwatches. It's also an important thing because it becomes a visual representation of you. Now, if your profession means that you sit down and you talk to people, you perhaps negotiate, you have meetings, as we are today, your hands might be on a table in front of people, and people draw an inference from your physical presentation. They will look at, you know, those things like the cut of your suit, the tie that you choose to wear, the shine on your shoes. But be sure they're also looking for the other accessories that you wear. Perhaps it'll be jewellery that you wear, or certainly for a gentleman, it's going to be the wristwatch which you choose to grace your wrist, because it says something about you. And I've always been a firm believer of that. You know, when I meet somebody for the first time, I will glance down at their wristwatch just to give me an idea of the sort of person they are. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm any sort of elitist watch snob, and if I see that somebody's wearing no wristwatch or they're wearing a Casio wristwatch, it doesn't make any difference to me. It doesn't mean that I'm judging that person in any different way. What it means is if I see they're wearing a watch which I know something about or I can appreciate, I can, you know, if the opportunity presents itself, say, "Ooh, that's a nice watch. Do you enjoy wristwatches?" It's an opening to a conversation in which we will have a shared interest if the answer is, yes, this is my wristwatch, I quite like it, or whatever the conversation will take you on. So it's an opportunity for a friendship to develop, or, as I say, just something that you have in common. So, you know, I don't want you to think that I judge people on their watch. That's not true. But I like my wristwatches, and if I see somebody else wearing a nice watch, it's an opportunity to have a chat which may not have been there before. So before I tell you the wristwatch that I've decided to hopefully get next, and I've put my name down for, let me tell you about my take on men's watches. So watches are important for me because, well, first of all, I don't wear any jewellery at all. So, you know, I don't have any way of visually demonstrating a little bit about my personality when I meet people. So the wristwatch for me, my timepiece, is the only thing generally which I wear on my skin which can tell you a little bit about me when we first meet. You know, something which tells you I like a connection with the intricate fine detail engineering that goes into an automatic wristwatch, for instance. You know, if I was wearing a Casio watch, it tells you that I'm into functional, utilitarian practicality. I wear an automatic wristwatch generally, which tells you that I like, you know, really good quality engineering and accurate timekeeping, but with a human element, because I know a person has put this watch together and that means something to me. Now, my own collection of wristwatches has been slowly and very organically built. I didn't buy my first luxury watch until I was in my late 40s, and that was predominantly because, well, quite simply, I didn't have the money to buy a nice watch. I've always had sort of, you know, civil servant type jobs where they're not highly paid, but you get the enjoyment of working in an interesting profession. So I've never been well off. And it took me a long time to save up to get that first watch. And I bought that in my late 40s. It was a Rolex, a Datejust, and it's a watch I'm wearing today. I love it. But, you know, since that time, when I really connected with nice wristwatches, I've slowly built a very small collection of watches which I love. And each purchase is a considered thing for me. You know, I can't afford to make a mistake and buy a watch that I don't love, that I don't like, that I'm not going to wear. So I really think about them, and all my watches have to serve a purpose. You know, my Datejust is predominantly my smart watch, my dress watch. It's a watch I wear mostly with suits and smart attire. I've got a casual, more rugged, robust sports watch, which, you know, fits that purpose in my life. I have another watch which is perhaps my special occasion watch, a watch which, you know, I wear to make me feel special, and is a watch which I connect with visually as well as, you know, technically. And all of my watches get worn in ordinary life. Not a single of my small collection sits in a safe. I don't buy them as investments. They're watches which I purchase to be worn in daily activity. So they don't get babied. That's why I tend to favor Rolex as a brand, because I know they're tough and robust, and they can take a bit of a knock and a ding from time to time. That perhaps is one of the things which attracts me to that brand. So, you know, all my watches get given a proper, ordinary, everyday life. So, what's this new watch I want to try and buy? Well, let me tell you. April 2021, I was very interested to see the new Rolex announcements to its range for the coming year. I wasn't particularly hopeful. I wasn't looking to buy anything. I may not buy anything. I'm saying I'd like to get one. I may not be able to get one. But when I saw the announcements, I was really expecting to see things getting bigger. You know, last year we saw the Submariner and the Oyster Perpetual range get larger. And you know, let's be truthful. The trend of late has been watches getting bigger and bigger. And that doesn't suit me personally, because I am a pretty average sized guy. You know, I am Mr. Medium. I take medium in all of my clothes. I'm about 5'9", 5'10" in height. And as a consequence, you know, my proportions mean that I have a wrist size which is just a little over 6.5 inches. So seeing watches getting bigger and bigger just doesn't fall into my wheelhouse. One of my favorite size watches is the 36mm Datejust I'm wearing today. I have watches which are 40mm, 41mm, but they're definitely, you know, verging on as high as I would ever want to go. 40mm is probably as big as I would really wish to go. So I was expecting to see Rolex watches getting bigger and bigger. Lo and behold, they shocked pretty much everybody by announcing that their Oyster Perpetual Explorer watch was going to go from 39mm to 36. And that's when my ears pricked up. Because a few years ago, I walked into an authorized dealer and they had a 39mm stainless steel Explorer in stock and available to try on. Could have bought it. I tried it on. Do you know what? It didn't click. That 39mm, a watch of that size without a bezel, for me looks just a little bit too big. Now, I know that there are many Rolex aficionados who will say the 39mm Explorer is the perfect watch for most men. I don't fall out with that at all. You know, I'm not one of these guys who's a purist who says, well, you know, that Explorer was originally 36mm in 1953 and hence nothing less than that size will fit with me. I don't go down that route, okay? You know, I'm a realist, I'm a contemporary man. I don't care about things in the past. I care what they look like on my wrist today. And I tried that 39mm Explorer on. It just didn't connect with me. And I handed it back to the authorized dealer. You know, it wasn't right for me at that time. So, you know, I was shocked to see that Rolex had brought out its latest iteration of that Explorer with a new movement in modern styling, but with a 36mm size. Now, they brought it out in stainless steel, but also a somewhat bizarre two-tone yellow gold version. I have to say that didn't interest me. I am a fan of gold. You know, I do own a two-tone Rolex sports watch in the GMT, but in the Explorer, it's just designed as a utilitarian watch. It didn't connect with me being two-tone. So for me, it's stainless steel. And in that 36mm, it perhaps clicks that box, which it certainly didn't do for me as a 39mm watch. So why do I want to bring an Oyster Perpetual Explorer into my small collection of wristwatches? Well, you know, for a long time, the Explorer has been seen as the entry level into the Rolex professional range. It's a tough and a rugged watch. You know, it's water resistant to 100 meters, screw down crown. It's got, you know, within the new complication, it's as tough and as rugged as any other professional piece. You can put it through the ringer and it's still going to come out keeping certified chronometer time. But the thing I like about the piece is it is a true chameleon. You can, of course, wear it exploring. You can wear it to the beach in your shorts and a t-shirt, and you can wear it in the sea. It's not going to give you any trouble. But you can also wear that watch with your suit, with a shirt in the summertime. You know, you can wear it casually, as I'm dressed today, or you can wear it formally. It's not going to look out of place. It is a true chameleon of a watch. And for that reason, I'm really drawn to it. Now, I own a couple of other Rolex professional range watches. I've got a Sub, I've got a GMT, and they're lovely. They're very nice, but they are a little bit, I'm going to use the word ostentatious. The Submariner is known by everybody for what it is. People spot it from 100 yards away, and you know, it has a reputation. I've got a two-tone GMT, a root beer, and again, it's got gold, it is highly visible, and again, it draws attention to itself. That's why I call it my special occasion watch, but it's not perhaps the watch to wear every day if you want to go through life without being the center of attention. But that Explorer definitely fits into all of those categories. It's rough, it's rugged, it can be worn in any situation because of its utilitarian practical nature, and that's where it really attracts my attention. And its size, you know, it's the perfect size for me as an average medium-sized guy with a wrist size as I have. That Explorer will be a watch I can wear pretty much all of the time. You know, it could be, as it's often described, a one watch collection for somebody who simply wants one watch all of the time. And you know what? I'm not averse to entering it into my collection, and if I think to do so, if I feel I need to downsize my collection because I'm not wearing other watches, I would consider doing that. We'll see where this journey is going to take me as I enter a new and different watch into my collection. I'll tell you one reason why I'm not attracted to it, and that's the constant marketing that Rolex put up there about its Everest connections. Now, yes, the watch came out in 1953, but you know, the Explorer, which we all know and love today, was not on the wrist of Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay when they, you know, on the conquest of Everest by those men in 1953. A prototype, perhaps, of some version of that watch, which was undergoing trials, may have been on their wrist, but it wasn't the watch that we all know and love as the Explorer today. And I do find this association with Everest being a little bit fanciful, a little bit tenuous, really. So that doesn't really, you know, spin me off in that direction. Much as I enjoy learning about the origin story and the ethos of many watches, I think that link is a little bit too far removed really to get my interest. So there we go, that's my thinking. What have I done about it? Well, a week ago I went to a Rolex authorized dealer that I've previously purchased an expensive watch from, my root beer, and I placed an order. And the great sales agents there, we had a lovely chat. They know I'm a genuine watch collector. I'm not somebody who's looking to buy a watch and move it on, whether that's even appropriate with an Explorer. You know, is it going to be a desirable watch? Nobody knows. People perhaps in the know preferred that 39mm size, so there may not be a queue forming at the door for the 36 version. I have asked for a stainless steel model. That's the only one I'm interested in. I'm not interested in this, you know, this two-tone version. So that is perhaps going to delay its delivery. I've been told that the watches are expected into the UK probably the end of May, early June. And then they'll start to filter out. We will see. I will keep you updated. I will tell you when I receive that watch in an initial video, and then sometime later we'll do a review of it. So I hope you've enjoyed today's talk on my potential new watch purchase. We'll see if it turns up. Until then, if you're not already a member of our little community here at the Chap's Guide, I would encourage you to click that red button and join us as a subscriber. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think that 36mm Explorer is going to attract any attention? Or is the 39mm the way to go and Rolex have made a mistake? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again very soon.